I know you use both traditional and digital mediums. Can you tell us what your workspace looks like and what softwares you use?
Right now, I draw the line art on B4 or B5 paper, then scan it and use IBIS Paint to color it digitally.
How did you come to use this method?
It just kind of happened. I'd been doing the line art digitally in IBIS Paint, but I felt it needed more texture and character. So I decided to try doing it with pen and paper and then coloring it in digitally.
When did you start doing that?
Around my second year of high school.
Do you have any particular preferences for the paper you use?
I prefer paper with a fine texture.
Do you have a favorite brand?
I don't really pay much attention to brands. I'm not even sure of the names of the materials I use. I remember it because of the green packaging and because it's always in the same place at the store.
What do you like about it?
The pencil lead adheres well. You can erase it cleanly without leaving marks, and the fine liner pens work great on it.
Would you say that analog drawing gives you that texture and character that you said you were looking for?
Exactly. When I'm tracing shapes, I prefer doing it by hand because I can add finer details with traditional mediums, just the way I want in my art. Digital art is great, but I prefer the feel of something drawn by a real person.
When you scan your line art into the computer, you keep the texture of the paper, right?
Yes.
Why do the line art by hand but color using IBIS Paint?
Coloring digitally is more efficient. The bucket tool in IBIS Paint is great because it preserves the paper's texture while adding color. I really like this feature, and it seems to be unique to IBIS Paint.
So you tried out different tools and decided on IBIS Paint because you liked how it handles colors?
Yes. Plus, I draw on iPad now, and IBIS Paint makes it easy for me to place colors intuitively. Other software can be complicated with lots of tools, which I'm not really good at. I like the way IBIS Paint lets you color intuitively.
So you use an iPad for your digital work?
Yes, mostly. When I need higher resolution, I export the work to my PC to refine it, but I mainly use my iPad.
Given how detailed your drawings are, doesn't the iPad feel a little bit small even if you zoom in?
No, it's quite alright if I use the zoom.
So your workflow starts on paper, moves to the iPad, and then gets transferred to a PC.
It might seem a bit patchwork, but I've gotten used to it. I've tried other methods, but they just didn't feel right to me.
So even if you try to do the line art on your iPad, it just doesn't feel right?
Yeah, I don't really like drawing line art on my iPad. I really miss the texture of more traditional mediums.
Your drawing style is incredibly detailed. Has it always been like this, or did you make a conscious effort to develop it that way?
I guess my art just got more detailed over time.
With that level of detail, it seems like you could keep drawing indefinitely. How do you know when a piece is finished?
Once I've got the level of detail and color I want, I consider it done. That's where I draw the line.
Instead of having all of your goals planned out from the start and working towards them, do you focus more on unexpected developments and ideas that come up during the process?
Yes, exactly. When I start drawing, I can't really visualize the final result. As I add colors, I gradually figure out where the piece is going. I never really plan ahead, I just go with the flow.
It seems like you start with the overall shape or silhouette instead of a specific subject. Is that right?
Yes, I usually let my emotions guide me. I think about what shapes or flow matches my current feelings, and then keep working on it until it feels right.
It seems like you start with the overall shape or silhouette instead of a specific subject. Is that right?
Yes, I usually let my emotions guide me. I think about what shapes or flow matches my current feelings, and then keep working on it until it feels right.
So you start with a rough silhouette or composition and then flesh out the world building or story from there?
Yes, that's right.
Do you use that approach even for commercial illustration projects?
When it comes to commercial work, I don't let my emotions get in the way. I focus on meeting the client's needs.
In other words, you analyze what the client wants, figure out how you'd normally approach the subject, and tackle the commission that way?
Yes, that's correct. It's all a bit hard to put into words, but basically I spend the whole time thinking, is this okay? How about this?
Your detailed illustrations can trigger a bit of trypophobia in some people, and there's a subtle sense of eeriness that comes through in your work. Is that intentional?
Yes, I love scaring people, and I'm happy if my work creeps them out.
Ideally, how would you like people to react to your artwork?
Let's see. I'd love it if people said, "Whoa," or "This is creepy." That would actually make me really happy. I wouldn't mind if they were a little put off.
Do you enjoy creating art that makes people uncomfortable?
Yes, I really like creepy things, so I've always wanted to draw disturbing art. I knew it wouldn't be accepted right away, so I started with pretty things to get noticed. Once people began following my work, I thought, all right, now it's time to post the creepy stuff.
Are there any works or artists that represent your ideal kind of creepy?
Not really. I take bits and pieces of creepy elements from various works and rework them into my own creations.
For example, the mechanical insides of the Transformers.
Yes, things like that. I can't deal with those disturbing trypophobia-inducing works made by others, but I love creating my own.
So lotus seed pictures freak you out?
I mean, they're just nasty, right? Anyone would find that stuff disturbing, but even though it creeps me out, I want to create something that also has a sense of beauty to it.
How do you keep your extremely detailed artwork from becoming too overpowering to look at?
I think it's important to have a balance between detailed areas and simpler areas. My work may look very detailed, but there are areas where I deliberately hold back. That balance is key.
At first glance, your art looks straightforward, but then the intricate details become obvious when you look closer. Is that what you mean by balance?
Yes, exactly. If every element in a piece stands out, it can look messy. So I focus on the parts I really want to highlight and draw them in detail, while toning down the rest to keep it balanced.
What inspired your art book Seekers?
I've always been fascinated by space and the unknown. I wanted to challenge myself to see if I could express that fascination, which led to the creation of Seekers.
Is there anything in particular you'd like readers to focus on in this book?
Well, I paid a lot of attention to details around the characters, the setting, and so on. Since they're explorers, I focused on the tools, weapons, and vehicles they use.
You work on a lot of different projects. How do you balance your original work, like Seekers, with commissions? What's your ideal split?
I think a 50-50 split would be perfect. I don't want to focus too much on just my original work because I know not everyone shares my tastes. Plus, I like creating things that appeal to a wider audience.
And what's the current split?
Right now, I'm doing less original work, but I'm still having a lot of fun with my projects. I make sure to include elements I love in my commissioned work.
Is there a particular piece where you felt you really expressed yourself?
Not really. There are pieces where I've put a lot of emotion into them, but I still try not to make them too extreme or off-putting.
Among your works, do you have a favorite or one that stands out to you?
My favorite piece doesn't have a title, but it's the one with the butterfly-like helmet and the half-broken face with the red eye.
What do you like about it?
It's hard to say. I love the line work, the color, and most importantly, I feel like I fully captured the scenario I wanted to depict.
And do you feel like you held back in that one as well?
Yes, if I didn't hold back at all, the human elements might disappear completely. I didn't do anything too extreme.
I'd like to see a piece that you consider too extreme one day.
Yeah, it would be great to share those with a niche audience who appreciates that kind of art.
Do you ever draw those ideas in secret, or are they just thoughts in your head?
They're mostly just thoughts. I avoid drawing them because it could really affect my work. Once I put it out there, it could become a pattern for me and lead to too many strange elements in my art. So I try to avoid that.
What would it take for you to change your mind and start exploring those ideas?
I would have to stop worrying about what other people think. I'm very aware of other people's opinions, which helps me to hold back a little bit.